Are you tired of being a productive, respected member of society? Want to throw all that away and become a full-time YouTube bum like Tony Bum Pizza? Well, step right up, because we got the products guaranteed to tank your life faster than Tony's last livestream. The Tony Bum Pizza Livestream Starter Pack. Broken Samsung with a cracked screen. Terrible Wi-Fi from your neighbor's router. Car seat livestream angle, up the nostrils edition. Daily rant script. Everybody's a hater but me. Perfect for broadcasting your failures in 720p. The Leon, the long-suffering dog, anxiety chews. For pets forced to listen to their owner complain about the mob life he never lived. Now with calming agents. Cheese residue. Tears. Shame. The 2001 Mercedes Confidence Kit includes one deflated ego, duct tape for the doors, vanilla air freshener smelling like financial ruin and regret, looks like success, runs like depression, scratch off dreams mega bundle, 40 tickets, 0 wins, 100% denial, because something's gotta hit eventually, right? The official Batman tee. Never washed. Authentic gas station fabric. Finger-pointing stains included. Why be a hero when you can pretend you are?
Mugs, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
The Quiet Fields, the hidden history of the Italian mob in Iowa. Written by Bambi Palermo. Narrated by Vincent DiPrio. You don't hear about Iowa when they talk about the Mafia. You hear about New York, Chicago, Vegas. Big cities, big bodies, big headlines. But organized crime, real organized crime, don't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. This is the story of how Italian-American organized crime quietly touched Iowa, not as a kingdom, not as a capital, but as a corridor. And sometimes corridors are more important than thrones. This is the Quiet Fields. Prohibition, the door opens, 1920-1933. In 1920, the 18th Amendment changed America overnight. Alcohol became illegal. But demand? Demand got stronger. The Midwest became a perfect pipeline. The Missouri River ran like a vein between Kansas City, Omaha, and Council Bluffs. Rail lines crisscrossed the state. Rural enforcement was scattered. Iowa wasn't lawless. It was stretched thin. Bootleg liquor flowed through western Iowa. Farms stored it. Trucks moved it. Small-town bars quietly reopened behind locked doors. And here's the psychological twist. When a law criminalizes everyday behavior, communities begin choosing which laws matter. Bootlegging wasn't seen as evil. It was seen as practical. And that shift, that moral flexibility, creates fertile soil. The Omaha influence. Iowa never had its own dominant mafia family like New York's 5 families. Instead, Western Iowa became influenced by the Omaha organization under figures like Anthony Biase. Omaha's Italian-American crime structure controlled gambling, bookmaking, and loan sharking operations, Council Bluffs, just across the river, became a natural extension. Later, power in the Midwest consolidated under Kansas City boss Anthony Joseph Civella. Civella's influence reached into Nebraska and parts of Iowa, not loudly, not violently, strategically. Iowa was never the headquarters. It was the satellite. And satellites are safer. The quiet revenue streams. No machine guns in the streets. No public assassinations in downtown Des Moines. Instead, underground bookmaking, card rooms, loan sharking, political relationships, selective influence in labor and transport. The business model wasn't spectacle. It was stability. Loan sharking in agricultural communities carried a unique psychological weight. Farmers facing bad harvests or tight credit sometimes turned to underground lenders. High interest meant long-term control. Debt creates silence. And silence creates longevity. Why Iowa stayed calm. Here's what separates Iowa from Chicago. Community scale. In smaller communities, violence attracts too much attention. Federal heat spreads quickly. Relationships matter more than fear. Organized crime in Iowa adapted. Keep it low. Keep it polite. Keep it profitable. This is what criminologists sometimes call embedded corruption, where influence exists not through domination but through normalization. No one talks because everyone benefits a little. You ever wake up in a hotel room with no pants, a fake passport, and 3 missed calls from your ex-wife and your parole officer? Yeah? Then you need alibi shades. Courtrooms, backdoor meeting, or the back of a police car. Developed by the same guys who invented selective memory, these shades are designed to block flashbangs, questions, eye contact with snitches, the crushing weight of moral responsibility. Alibi shades. I ain't seen nothing, officer, just the sunrise and my manicure. Alibi shades in interrogation black, snitch-proof smoke, and witness protection chrome. Alibi shades for when you gotta look the DA dead in the face and say, never met the guy. Available at Lou Carboni's Pawn and Optometry, under Bambi's mattress and select glove compartments in Newark. Federal pressure and the collapse. By the 1970s, everything changed. The federal government began aggressively using RICO statutes. Instead of charging individuals, prosecutors targeted entire enterprises. Surveillance expanded, informants flipped, grand juries convened. When leaders like Anthony Joseph Civella faced prosecution, the structure weakened. And satellite territories like Western Iowa, they faded quietly. No dramatic ending, just slow erosion. By the late 20th century, traditional Italian-American organized crime influence in Iowa had largely diminished. The cornfield effect. Iowa teaches a critical lesson in organized crime psychology. Crime thrives not just in chaos, but in comfort. When communities believe, that doesn't happen here, oversight softens. The absence of violence becomes camouflage. In Iowa, organized crime didn't need dominance. It needed invisibility. Iowa was never the capital of organized crime, but it was a corridor. a quiet artery connecting larger empires. And in the shadows between cornfields and courthouses, business was done. Not with headlines, with handshakes. History doesn't always shout. Sometimes it hums under the surface. And if you listen closely, you can still hear it. This has been a Pizzaverse Studios and Palermo Productions crime documentary. Written by Bambi Palermo. Narrated by Vincent DePrio. If you appreciate deep dive historical crime documentaries that go beyond Hollywood myths, subscribe. Support independent storytelling. And remember, power isn't always loud. Sometimes it grows in the quiet fields. From all of us at Pizzaverse Studios and Palermo Productions, thank you for watching. Stay sharp. Stay curious. And we'll see you in the next chapter. You've heard about New York. You've heard about Chicago. Cities that screamed their power from rooftops. But nobody ever talks about the river. The Missouri. Because the river didn't scream. It moved. Quietly. From Kansas City to Omaha to the edges of western Iowa, a corridor formed. Not built on headlines, built on understanding. While the coast fought wars in the streets, the Midwest built something different. Stability. No bodies on sidewalks. No machine guns in daylight. Just handshakes in back rooms. Cards dealt under a single hanging bulb. Ledgers balanced with surgical precision. Under leaders like Anthony Savella in Kansas City, influence spread along the Missouri corridor. Through gambling. Through labor. Through quiet political relationships. And in Omaha, men like Anthony Biase reinforced the structure. Satellite territories. Revenue streams without noise. The genius wasn't violence. It was invisibility. Because in smaller cities, reputation carries farther than bullets. For decades, the river carried more than water. It carried money. It carried loyalty. It carried fear. And the cornfields, they hid everything. But silence doesn't last forever. In the 1970s, the rules changed. RICO. Wiretaps. Grand juries. The federal government stopped chasing individuals and started dismantling systems. The corridor that once protected itself through quiet cooperation now faced a new enemy. Documentation. Testimony. Surveillance. The river still flowed, but the current had shifted. This is not a story of flashy empires. This is the story of disciplined power. Of influence that understood one simple truth. If you control the corridor, you don't need the throne. From Pizzaverse Studios, a Palermo Productions crime documentary. Written by Bambi Palermo. Narrated by Vincent DePrio. The River Syndicate. Empires don't always rise in skyscrapers. Sometimes they rise in the fog.